Thank you. Thank you guys for joining today. Our session is Sales Operations as a Change Agent of the Sales Organization. My name is Chris Butcher. I'm a CSM here at Apttus. I would like to welcome Ankur Ahluwalia. He's the VP of Operations for Apttus, and he also is in charge of Apttus for Apttus.
Okay, thank you. Well, thank you all for joining. I know it's been a pretty busy event, and hopefully you're getting a lot out of it. I'm Ankur Ahluwalia. I run Global Sales Operations for Apttus. I've been with Apttus almost 2 years, and it's been one of the most interesting experiences I've had. And I'll be walking you through some of the stuff we're doing internally that's really helping us propel the growth and keep up to our growth expectations. But before I joined Apttus, I was actually a customer of Apttus as well. I was actually one of the first CPQ customers of Apttus, and I know the founders pretty well. I remember the day when Kent was giving the demo, and Nihar was the one implementing the product for me, and then Kirk was also very involved. And so I go back, and it puts me in a very unique place because not only can I speak from my experience in being in sales ops for many years, I started my career in sales ops in Motorola. It's a big mammoth organization having a different set of challenges. And then I was with a company called Saba Software, and they were a company that was going through a very big transformation, okay? And what you start to realize is in the last, I would say, 7 or 8 years, sales operations has changed. Good old days, it was all about reporting and dashboards and those kind of things, more of just bringing results and KPIs that was already, the results had already passed and how we had performed. But these days, as sales operations leaders, you are expected to bring results to the business, right? It's not only here's how you performed and here's all the different metrics, but how they're going to hit the results. So Saba, we had a very interesting situation. The company was going through a massive transformation. It was a pioneer in its space in learning and talent development HR, and it's kind of lost its way, right? The CEO was under investigation. There was a lot of new leadership that had come in, myself had come in. We were looking to transform our business. And if you look at what we were facing, was pretty much looking down at the bottom. Our win rate had tanked. Sales organization had gone from 150 people to 18 people. We had too much complexity in our pricing. It was about 150, 175 million run rate company, public mid-sized company, SaaS company. But our pricing was too complex. We couldn't respond to our customers in time. Sales reps, whatever they were left, couldn't really understand our pricing. It was a big problem, right? Good news was we had a vision. We had a plan. We were going to come out with a new product. We were going to innovate ourselves. We had an extremely awesome install base. About 80% of our customers were Fortune 1000, so we had a very healthy install base. We were a traditional perpetual software company trying to transform into SaaS. Okay, so we're looking at all these things, and we wanted to transform ourselves. And I was looking for a platform by which I could make that happen. And I took a risk on Apttus. They were less than 50 employees back then. And 3 years later, the company was completely able to transform itself. And today, as I walk you through, I'm going to be sharing how we did that, okay? Now, when you've had an experience like this, it is a very thrilling experience because you're able to really transform your business. But as a sales operations organization, you really have to play a much bigger role to be able to achieve results like that, okay? So at Saba, it was a turnaround situation. At Apttus, it's a growth situation. And I had to apply learnings from there to be able to drive this business. So I'm going to talk about a little bit about that. But very quickly on Apttus, as I told you guys, I've known the founders 5 or 6 years now, right? You can see the growth that they've had, but you can see the bars really start to take off in the last 2 years that I've been here, okay? I remember joining the company, the sales operations group was 2 members, 2 teams, two guys that were very young in their careers. And a sales organization that literally, they had 100 sales reps that were hired in 6 months, okay? So you're looking at brand new new sales management, new sales reps, new sales ops. The employees about 500 today. We're 1,200. So you can imagine it's literally a lot of growth in a lot of different departments. So now you're facing a very interesting challenge. You have a good pipeline, you have a good brand, the company's growing. They don't know what they're selling. They don't know what they're pricing. They're not enabled properly, right? So you have all these different things you have to put in place, right? And I'll be walking you through how we got there. I'm showing the results early because as you listen to this presentation, we were able to achieve all of this. And this is where Apttus is today, and we continue to grow, right? Growing at an exponential pace that is rival to a lot of our other SaaS companies in a similar space, okay? Market has always looked at us as leaders, right? So we practically invented the quote-to-cash market, and you can see there's a lot of publicity that comes with it. Our leaders are very well spoken. Our leaders are thought leaders. We are the ones that really are shaping an industry, and there is a lot of coverage we get from the market. So the pressure is always on to keep innovating, keep growing, keep at the pace that we are going, right? We are leaders in quote-to-cash. Forrester, you probably have been listening and hearing about this. There is no one vendor out there that if you look at the entire quote-to-cash cycle that has a footprint and leadership position like we do. So we have really been able to accomplish this in the last 2 years, okay? We're very proud of what we accomplished. We're not stopping. We're going to continue to grow forward. And one of the big changes we did, it was not always about the product feature and functionality. That's not how you want to really solve customers' problems. We're very focused on solving business outcomes. We want to achieve business outcomes. The outcomes I showed you from my Saba slide are the outcomes we are trying to achieve at every customer, whether it's accuracy, deal size, revenue leakage, speed, win rate, so on. These are the outcomes we want to help our customers achieve, okay? And we've been able to achieve those internally ourselves, which I'll get to later, okay? So it's about customer outcomes. Now let's looking back. 2013, since I've known these guys, they were 10 BDRs, about 30 reps, right? And then fast forward today, we are now an organization that's just completely going. At one point, we were trying and putting our bets in different places. We were a mammoth sales organization, and since then we have right-sized ourselves and put our focus in the right places. But this is a lot of growth. And I go back to the comment I made earlier. In 6 months, we had 100 sales reps joined, right? So there was a lot of stuff that was going on. Offices and our presence just dramatically grew. I remember joining, we were pretty much in North America, just opened an office in UK, and next thing I know, you got presence all over the place. So we are pretty much a global organization. In fact, our international business is substantially contributing to our bookings today, okay? When we look at a technology stack, just like any other company, we are looking at always innovative technologies, the right technologies, but we are never shy of trying something very innovative, okay? Always in the lookout for innovative technologies out there that we could use that helps us achieve those business outcomes I talked about. Aviso is one. It's an application we heavily use for our forecast accuracy. It's accurately projected through its machine learning where we finish in a quarter. And that's helped us drive our forecast accuracy. And if Aviso's projecting something we don't like, then we know that we have to work at something, or it's relying on our CRM data, which is probably not clean. So it helps us drive a lot of hygiene that we need to. There are a lot of other stealth startups we work with, always looking for ways to give ourselves the edge, or I give my edge to my CRO that I support. We have a stealth startup that's helped us do propensity to buy analysis on our install base. If a customer's bought certain products, it's actually helped us model, you can go into these customers and sell some other products. So our install base bookings in the last 2 years went from 10% contribution to our bookings to over 50% the quarter we just finished, right? So we have a good, healthy install base. The customers are growing with us. But to tell the reps what and how they should go after the customers and what they should focus on and push for is really help things. Efficiency is what we're going after, okay? I'll get into the weeds of sales operations. These are predominantly the major functions typical sales operations touch. You will notice a couple of different functions that normally sales ops don't get into, but they roll up into me, and I'll get to in a second how they all connect together and how it's our secret sauce to success, okay? Comes to strategy and planning, I have my director of strategy sitting in this room here. We really have gotten better every year at how we plan and how we position ourselves in the market. Starts with our corporate vision, rolls into our go-to-market strategy, and then we go through a very, very serious process. It's defining sales hierarchy, looking at people, aligning people, transferring the accounts, which is never an easy process, especially with salespeople. Don't like their accounts being shifted, but we do it very delicately and smartly. Territory planning, as well as then looking at compensation, and then you roll out your comp plans, okay? We go through a very systematic process. And when you do this, you keep the noise low, you set the right expectations. If there are any issues or conflicts, you resolve them early. But once you settle down, you rock and roll. You just move on with the year, okay? So there is no back and forth and so on. So we're doing a lot of systematic way of thinking how we go to market, okay? We look at process. I'm a big process guy. When I first joined Apttus, we were a little bit all over the place. Today, we have very simple, I think it's 7 stages. Within each stage, we are very clear what each stages need to do. So simplification was the first thing we tried to solve, okay? And now we have a sales process that makes a lot of sense to our business. We're constantly looking to redefine. And we also tell our reps through our playbooks how they should forecast and so on. Simple stuff, nothing like dramatic and nothing complex. So simplicity is what I went after, especially when you have 100 reps that are brand new into the organization. You don't want to confuse them too much, okay? Compensation. It's one of the most exciting parts at Apttus. When I first joined, my first week, I saw our CEO give off 2 Ferraris and 3 Lamborghinis to our top 5 sales reps. And it's pretty fascinating to watch. We were in the offsite, and there are these 5 cars parked, and they're covered, and then he brings out our top 5 sales reps, and they're giving out Ferraris and Lamborghinis. And I have pictures of that. It's like, this is freaking awesome. It's very motivating for a sales rep, right? To get those kind of awards and recognitions. And we do that all the time. We have comp plans that have now simplified over time. We were pretty complex. I highly recommend simplifying your comp plans, looking at the incentive structures, make sure they're aligning to the strategy of the company. We do look at spiffs from time to time towards the end of the quarter or that want to drive certain behaviors. But having the right comp plans is very crucial. We learned the hard way once of not doing it right, okay? Just to give you an example, back in the day, many years ago, they had an incentive in the comp plan that says, as a rep, you need to generate pipeline. So what happened is a lot of reps generated pipeline. None of that was good. So now you have a pipeline that is 60, 70% garbage. So right intention, but it backfired really bad because then I had to walk in and clean up millions of dollars worth of pipeline that wasn't true. So you have to always be looking at the incentives that you have in place, okay? We have different segmentations in our sales hierarchy. We do have geographic territories as well as named accounts. And we deliberately went about leaving a certain segmentation more on territories and deliberately went about the rest of our, especially the larger install-based Gamma accounts on a named account model. And there's a lot of TAM. We have a lot of available market. So a lot of work goes in from my teams in really scoring those accounts. So we do a lot of work on how we score those accounts to the highest propensity. And those 2,000, 3,000 accounts are then rolled out, and we focus on that. Our marketing focuses on that, very targeted campaign. But once those accounts are being hit, there is another pool of accounts that are sitting as backup that can be given out. So focus on our enterprise, large enterprise has been our strategy, and on the commercial mid-market side, it's just running a little bit with territories, still with some kind of scoring. So we believe in scoring, just FYI. RFP typically never reports into sales ops, but it's one of the things that I've always have a lot of experience in. But I'm going to give you some very interesting tips that's really helped our RFP conversion rate, which went up from 68% to 93% in 6 months. So what we do in a typical RFP, by the way, the RFP volume went from, I think, 50 a quarter to right now it's about 400 RFPs a quarter. So we are seeing a lot of RFPs as our names. Our brand is out there, and the quote-to-cash market is growing. The RFPs have started to come in. And one of the things we do is when we write an executive summary, we actually tell our clients that, hey, as you're flipping through this RFP and we have responded to everything you wanted, some of them are 500 pages long, please look for an Apttus logo next to each paragraph. If you notice an Apttus logo anywhere in the RFP, in a paragraph, please read that paragraph. So what you do is you focus your attention of the clients on the parts of the RFP you want them focused on, right? And so it all of a sudden, all our differentiators, all our value proposition, how we stand apart from other vendors, we're able to call it out. And that's actually worked very well for us. So it's something we use pretty hard. And I track our win rates and conversion rates. RFP, it's gone up quite a bit, okay? So it's just a small tactic, but it worked out pretty well. Deal desk is a function. This gentleman here started deal desk for Apttus. We didn't have that before. Now, traditionally, as most of you are sitting and thinking deal desk, you're thinking of back office function, takes a long time to respond to your reps, reviews, tells you to do something, you go back, you come back to them, and so on. But it's not in the case of Apttus. As a number of quotes and opportunities went up, our approval cycle time went down. It's a direct result of Apttus quote to cash, especially our CPQ products and advanced workflow, okay? You can design your processes to still have the right rigor and controls with the right process and training and enablement. You can still achieve a pretty fast approval cycle time. Our approval cycle time right now is less than 8 hours. He's saying it's 2.9 hours. I've told him to bring it less than 3 hours, okay? We are lightning fast. At the same time, we're trying to go IPO, right? So I cannot have anything break down, no pricing getting out that wasn't approved, so it is lightning fast. And the way we do that is setting up our systems and our processes in a way we enable our sales management up to a certain level, and they're trained properly and so on. But at the same time, when it hits deal desk, and I'll share you some of the nuggets later, how our quote to cash solution guides and advises our reps as well as our deal desk on how our pricing should be and deal structuring, okay? So it's one of the things we are most proud of. And you will not believe, you're looking at 1,000 transactions a quarter, and I do it with 2 people. So it's not an army of 10 deal desk people that are sitting and chewing through it. 2 people. In fact, he used to be just the only one. Now we just put another person in there. Okay? So our number of transactions have exponentially increased, but we are not putting a lot of people into here. Okay? Order management. You will not believe how important a role this plays. One of the things we solve for, the customer gets an order, what do they understand of it? A lot of our customers don't understand the orders. So they ask the questions, the sales reps are confused because the sales reps have been sharing with them some quote or template or something that they have been generating all during the sales cycle, and then they get this legal doc and order, which is completely different. The product names are different, the description is different, and so on. So it's been one of the biggest positive impact our quote to cash product has. You launch a quote, it goes through approval, the rep generates a proposal that sales operations have signed up on, so it's a similar, very nice looking proposal with everything you want the client to see. But the pricing is exactly what the customer understands, and when he gets the order, it looks exactly the same. Okay? So we've simplified our order forms. We actually put a lot of effort into it. We polled some clients, we surveyed them, and we really understood what they were looking for. And so our ease of doing business went up. One of the reasons for doing that. Okay? Systems, we have a lot of them, like a lot of different companies. We use Aviso for forecasting, as I talk. It's a CRM agnostic application. It pulls data from our CRM, and its machine learning algorithm actually predicts where you're going to finish in a quarter. All our sales teams are on it. We use Salesforce for CRM, but we use Xauthor, which has actually been the wild card in our whole process. It's being used by our reps to update their opportunities. It's an Excel interface. It has an offline component. They can be in a flight. They're updating the opportunities notes. They land, they click a button, and it updates all the CRM data quite simultaneously. Okay? So it's been one of those products that has really helped keep our data clean, updated, because we really are watching a lot of that. Okay? When it comes to analytics, we are partnered with Domo. We are in love with Domo. I think it's an exceptional business intelligence application. It's really giving us a lot of information. Like most companies, a lot of your data is sometimes sitting in Excel, and different ERP system, a CRM system, and so on. But Domo is able to pick up from these different sources and be able to give us all kinds of performance. It could be sales performance data, it could be pipeline data, it could be other kind of propensity analysis my team does that is able to pick up and give it to our sales executives, okay? And we find it pretty easy to use. It's something we are heavily invested in, and it's worked out pretty well for us, okay? Renewals. When you are a hyper-growth company, it is quite fascinating how much your renewals grow. In the last 3 years, our renewals were less than 10 million, went to about 20 million, and now it's north of $50 million. Becomes a big part of your business. Because all these deals we've been selling, the 3 or 5 year contracts, all of a sudden they come to fruition at the same point. So when it comes to renewals, just like any other SaaS company, it's very, very important metric for us to maintain a good renewal rate. We use Gainsight, which is a customer information system. It's one place everybody goes to. You can look at all your active customers. You can look at their adoption. You can look at what they bought, how happy they are, unhappy they are, and so on. And you can track all of that. Our sales teams, our customer success. So it's our one place that we go to, and we use them quite a bit. Okay. I'm actually very excited about SalesHood. I believe it's a company based in San Francisco here. It's an enablement platform. It's the one place our entire company is enabled on, from new hires to sales to customers to even, I believe, solution engineering, all these groups. It's a fantastic platform for you to post videos, for the reps to take some training, get graded on, and so on. And we use that quite a bit here. And we are very, very good at rolling out new training and different sessions, so we enable our rep very, very quickly. So enablement, including my sales ops team, goes through everything through enablement, through SalesHood. Okay, so it's something I highly recommend you guys look at. Again, an innovative technology like Aviso, SalesHood, and a couple of other places that we look at to fill our gaps. Okay, but this is the crux of my presentation. We all have a sales cycle. Okay, from launch, you qualify, you go through discovery, you get down selected, you get vendor of choice, you could negotiate a contract, and you won. In all of this sales cycle, there is a lot of different attributes that are right there in front of you that people don't connect the dots on, okay? This could be, there is information in the RFP that you should be capturing. What is the customer generally in the automotive vertical? They're usually asking for certain type of use cases, feature functionality, so on. Then you go through competitive intelligence. During the sales cycle, the CI team is capturing something, right? What's going on in those deals, what our competitive plays are. Pricing is telling you something. And all these different things, your pricing and discounting, usage metric, win reports, this is all the data that's happening in a sales cycle. Saba, my win rate went up from 18% to 74%. In those 3 years, I used to capture these manually. And as a team, we used to sit together and see what is happening in our sales cycle, build a blueprint, and give it to our sales reps to say, this is how you should price, this is how you should structure a deal, this is what you should do early in the process, bang, bang, all the way to the end. And we used to keep replicating our success. But in Apttus Intelligence Cloud, this is done automatically. This is our quote to cash. This is what we use internally. So all the way from the start, the first time an opportunity comes in, all the way through to the close, we capture these attributes. Our machine learning, which I'm going to get to in the next slide, actually tells a rep how to price. It tells them a range. Depending on where you are in the sales cycle, who you're competing against, what vertical, and so on, tells them how to price. It actually tells them, hey, if you're selling product A, we see in this similar use case, customers buy product B and C as well, so our deal sizes get impacted. Okay, so we are using this intelligence. We were one of the first to roll out our own intelligence and see what kind of impact it has. So remember those 100 new sales reps that joined that had no clue on pricing and what to do? They're being told what to do. So we're not pricing ourselves out of deals. We're not leaving money on the table. We're doing it right. Okay? So this has become one of the biggest advantages we have. We tell our customers this: you go with Apttus, you will see your sales cycle time reduce. You will see your size increase. You will see less rogue discounting. You will see revenue growth. And if I look at our own metrics, the business outcomes I talked about, we have achieved all of these. When I first joined, our cycle time internally to get deals approved was 5 days. We were just growing so fast, people were hard to get a hold of and so on. Now she tells me less than 3 hours, so I'll check that. But last I checked, it was definitely less than 8 hours, right? Productivity went up. When you have 100 new sales reps, you cannot wait for them to get productive 6 to 9 months that you typically expect in a sales organization. We have reps that started selling in 3 months. Fast, right? I mean, there's a good pipeline. It's a growing company. You have a good brand. You got a good pipeline. There's a pipeline that they're sitting on. Let's go. So they use the Apttus Intelligence Cloud. They guided through it. So we were able to get a lot of them productive very quickly. And one quarter, the first quarter I rolled out quote to cash, it actually went above our entire capacity. We performed more than what our capacity was, right? And our rogue discounting went less. So we were always worried about, are we pricing ourselves right, or are we leaving too much money on the table? We actually did some analysis on our rogue discounting went less. And we were able to reduce our deal cycle time, which usually is in Apttus about 9 months on average, less by almost a month. Okay, and the way you do that is speed. You look at efficiencies in your process. Imagine a customer who's asking for a proposal and he has to wait 5 days for you to get back to him. That's ridiculous, right? So you got to start looking at we looked at the entire sales process. All these things I talked about start to impact. And that's our strategy, guys. In a nutshell, all these things tie together. They all fit into our value proposition of what we try and do. And it's fun to use your own product to see the results. And we are the first ones to deploy internally the new beta solutions that are coming out. So you always beta test it. Give feedback back to our product team. Sales, they treat us as a customer. We have our own customer success person also assigned to it. And this is all the stuff we do. And I think I'm right at the mark. I can probably take a 1 or 2 very quick question, or maybe we can, when I step outside, I'm happy to take any other questions. Anybody have any questions?
Any questions? Oh.
Yes.
Hi. Earlier you mentioned about increasing the number of RFPs, and you said putting a logo in certain areas. Can you explain that a little bit more?
I'm sorry, so increasing number of RFPs, and what was the second part?
I think you said from 50 to 400 in a quarter. How were you able to accomplish that?
It's pretty much a couple of things. As Apttus grew, our brand and recognition in the quote-to-cash market grew. And we also started playing in a lot of different areas that we normally weren't playing in. So if you look at a quote-to-cash footprint, it's CPQ, CLM, e-commerce, billing, revenue, all of those other modules that we weren't playing. So that was one. And I think the quote-to-cash industry is at its infancy, that it's growing at an exponential pace. So as your recognition starts to get out, you start to get invited more and more, and you educate the market more and more on what's out there. That was one of the, so it's kudos to marketing on that, to be very honest with you. But as they're coming in, you better have the engine there to support it and run it, right? So that's what we're focused on, that we win most of those RFPs, right?
Thanks, Ankur.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Good. Thank you very much. All right, gang, who are going to be the brave ones that stick around for the last session of the day? It's a good one.